My name is Adam. I'm 28 years old, and until just about a month ago, my life was not what I had imagined. I was back in the guest room of my parents' house, not by choice, not because I was lazy, but because I had nowhere else to go. Life has a way of pulling the rug out from under you, and that's exactly what happened to me. When I graduated with my degree in computer science, I thought the world was about to open up. I had worked hard, done everything I was supposed to do, good grades, internships, networking, the whole checklist. And for a while, it seemed to pay off. I landed a stable job at a mid-sized tech company, nothing glamorous, but solid. I could pay rent, save a little, and for the first time, I thought I was on a steady path toward building a life of my own. Then the pandemic hit. At first, I thought we'd just be working from home, like everyone else. But the company bled money, and before long, they announced massive layoffs. I was one of the first to go. No severance, just a polite email thanking me for my contributions. I can still remember the hollow silence after that call ended, staring at my screen, wondering how everything I'd built could vanish in a single morning. I spent the next year and a half desperately trying to claw my way back into the industry. Hundreds of applications, countless rejections, some interviews that gave me hope, but always ended with the same canned line. We've decided to move forward with another candidate. At first, I burned through my savings slowly, convincing myself I'd land something soon. But months kept passing. My bank account shrank, bills didn't stop, and eventually I couldn't make rent anymore. I moved back home thinking it would just be temporary, a few months at most, but my parents didn't see it that way. At first, it wasn't unbearable. My dad, Mark, is quiet, a man of few words, the type who doesn't get into the details of your life unless you offer them. My mom, Diane, though, she made sure I knew every single day that I was back under her roof. "This isn't a hotel," she would say at least once a week. She would sigh dramatically if I forgot to rinse a coffee mug or left my shoes by the door. At first, I brushed it off as stress, but the passive-aggressive remarks snowballed into open disdain. She'd wipe an already spotless counter and mutter things like, "You know, your cousin Rachel bought a house last year, and she's younger than you." Or, "It's just sad, Adam. At 28, your father and I already had you. Look at your life compared to ours." It didn't matter that I tried to help. I offered to cook dinner, mow the lawn, fix the router, even built websites for local businesses to keep some money flowing. I wasn't just lounging around, but in her eyes, all of it meant nothing. I was still the failure, the leech. Then there was my younger brother, Jordan, the golden child. He's 24, works in finance, lives in a shiny high-rise downtown, and never misses a chance to remind everyone about his success. He rarely visits, but when he does, it's like a switch flips in my mom. Her tone softens, her face lights up. "There's my baby. You look so fit. Are you working out?" she gushes. Meanwhile, I'm sitting in the corner, taking out the trash, invisible. One night, Jordan came over for dinner, and the tension simmered the way it always does. He tossed out casual jabs, like how some people are lucky they don't have to commute. I ignored it, but my mom didn't. She leaned across the table and asked me, "Have you even tried applying for real jobs lately?" The words stung. I had already told her I had 2 interviews that week, but she didn't care. Jordan smirked and added, "At some point, it's not bad luck anymore. It's just bad choices." That night, something inside me snapped. I didn't scream. I didn't throw a tantrum. I just quietly picked up my plate, walked into the kitchen, and ate standing at the counter like I was 12 again. From the dining room, I could still hear them laughing, catching fragments of words like pathetic, embarrassing, and needs to grow up. The very next day, I was in the den, working on a freelance job redesigning a bakery's website, when my mom barged in without knocking. Arms crossed, jaw tight. "You need to start paying rent," she said coldly. I nodded, already prepared for this talk. I explained that I planned to help once I got paid for the project. She shook her head. "Not someday. Now." Today I stared at her. "You want me to pay you with money I don't have?" Her eyes narrowed. "No, Adam. I want you to grow up. We've done enough. You're nothing but a leech living off us." The word hit harder than a slap. Leech. She said it like I was filth, something she couldn't scrape off fast enough. Before I could respond, she yanked a duffel bag out of the closet, threw it at my feet, and said, "Go leech somewhere else." I didn't argue, I didn't beg. I packed what little I had, laptop, charger, toothbrush, and walked out. My father stood in the hallway, arms folded. He didn't say a word. No hug, no take care, just silence. And somehow that cut even deeper than my mother's words. I couch surfed for weeks. Lucas, my closest friend, let me crash on his futon. My ex let me stay a few nights too, though it was awkward. Every morning I woke up with a sore back and this sinking reminder that I had no place of my own. But the humiliation lit a fire under me. I doubled down on freelancing, websites for local shops, digital storefronts for artists, redesigns for small businesses. I worked 15-hour days sometimes, chasing any project I could find. Some nights I wondered if I was just kidding myself, but slowly my portfolio grew. I wasn't rich, but I was proving, if only to myself, that I wasn't useless. Months later, a recruiter found one of my freelance sites and reached out. I didn't think much of it at first. I'd gotten my hopes up too many times before. But this time, the interview led to another, and then another. Eventually, I got an offer from a fully remote startup. The pay wasn't flashy, but it was enough. Enough to sign a lease on a tiny apartment that was mine. Enough to buy a coffee maker that only I used. Enough to breathe. For the first time in years, I wasn't under anyone's roof but my own. And with that came a clarity I'd never had before. Being thrown out of my parents' house felt like the worst thing that could happen to me, but it was actually the best. That night, when my mom called me a leech, I thought her words defined me. They didn't. They freed me. Because sometimes the hardest truth to accept is this: you don't always belong where you started. And once you realize that, you finally get to decide where you're going.